All right, let's just get right into it. If you're in tech, actually, if you're in any career right now, you felt it, right? That pressure. AI is just everywhere, and it's bringing up this massive question. Are all those AI certifications you see popping up, are they your golden ticket to a better job, or are they just an expensive distraction? That's what we're going to figure out.
So yeah, that's the big question we're tackling. You've got one side saying these certs are a clear path forward in what feels like a super confusing new world, but then you've got a lot of experts waving some serious red flags, basically calling them an illusion. So what's the real story here?
And this slide it breaks it down perfectly. You have the promise, a structured, validated path to a great job, actual proof of your skills, and then you have the illusion, the idea that you're just buying a piece of paper in a field that is moving so fast the information is basically outdated the second you finish the course.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at this AI career gold rush that's happening. Then we'll dive into the promise of certifications, followed by the flip side, the certification illusion. After that, we'll talk about what really matters, skills over paper. And we'll wrap up with a solid roadmap you can actually use.
All right, first up, the AI career gold rush. I mean, it really does feel like that, doesn't it? There's just this massive, widespread panic, or maybe excitement, that you've got to get on board with AI like yesterday.
And that anxiety, it's totally real. AI is weaving its way into every single industry. It creates this feeling that, the AI train is leaving the station, and if you're not on it, you're going to be left behind. And that fear, right there, is what's pushing millions of people to find a fast way to get skilled up.
And right on cue, into that chaos and anxiety comes this really clean, really appealing solution, the certification. So let's look at the pro side of the argument. Why might one of these certificates be the best investment you could make right now?
So the argument goes like this. In a field that's kind of chaotic, a certification gives you a clear, structured learning path. It's a simple signal to an employer that says, hey, I have a validated baseline knowledge here. And the hope, of course, is that this leads straight to a better job, more pay, basically future-proofing your career.
And honestly, there really is a certification for just about everyone. If you're not a techie, you've got things like Coursera's AI for Everyone that just explains the concepts. If you're a business pro, there are courses on using AI in marketing or finance. And if you're trying to land one of those big tech jobs, well, search from places like IBM promise to give you those job-ready skills. On the surface, the path looks pretty straightforward.
Okay, but now let's flip this whole thing on its head, because there's this growing number of people who are saying this entire certification boom is, well, an illusion. A really convincing one for sure, but maybe a hollow one.
Yeah, this quote really doesn't pull any punches, does it? It gets right to the core of the problem. It's not saying you don't learn anything in these courses. The critique is that they sell you this illusion of mastery that just kind of falls apart when you try to apply it in the real world.
And this really boils down to two totally different ways of thinking. First, you've got the checkbox mentality. This is where you believe that just collecting these paper certificates is going to unlock all the doors. But then there's the problem-solving mentality, which knows that real practical skills are the only key that actually works. It's the difference between passing a test on last year's tech versus actually building something with the tools we're using right now.
So what do companies actually want to see? Well, they want proof. They want to see your GitHub. Not to check off a box, but to actually see how your brain works when you're faced with a messy, real-world problem. Can you build stuff? And maybe even more important, can you explain what you built to people who aren't technical? A PDF certificate just can't show them any of that. Okay, so if a certificate isn't the magic answer, then what is? This brings us to the real heart of the matter, focusing on actual, tangible skills instead of just paper.
I love this. Proof of problem solving. That's the real currency here. See how that just completely changes the question? It's not how do I get certified anymore. It's how do I build proof that I can solve problems? And the only way to do that is by focusing on specific skills you can show off.
Let's make this super concrete. Take a skill like chain of thought prompting. This isn't some high-level abstract idea. It's a legit practical technique. Basically, instead of throwing one huge complicated request at an AI, you break it down. You guide it through a series of smaller logical steps. And just by doing that, the quality of what you get back goes way, way up.
And here's what that looks like in practice. Let's say you need a cover letter. Instead of just saying, hey, AI, write me a cover letter, you start small. First, you ask it for just an attention-grabbing first paragraph. Then, you take that great paragraph, you paste it back in, and you ask for the body. Then you take the whole thing and ask for a powerful closing. See? You're directing the AI, not just making a request. That is a real skill, and you only learn it by doing it, not by clicking next on a course video.
Here's another huge one, knowing where to specialize. Look at this. Everybody and their brother is trying to become a generic AI/ML engineer. It's totally saturated. 4 applicants for every single job. But the real opportunity? It's hiding in plain sight. For an AI cloud engineer, it's the complete opposite. There's only 1 applicant for every 5 jobs. The market is screaming for people with these skills, but everyone's looking in the wrong direction.
So what do you do with all this? What's the actual plan? Well, that's what this last part is all about, how to build your own practical AI roadmap.
Okay, now, let's be totally fair here. Certifications aren't always a waste of time. Sometimes they can be a smart strategic move. Like, if you're in a heavily regulated industry like banking or healthcare, you might actually need one for compliance. Or if you're all in on a specific platform like AWS or Microsoft Azure, yeah, their certs can be super valuable. And look, if you are an absolute beginner, they can give you a nice, structured starting point. But, and this is a big but, only if you're also building real projects at the same time. So, let's boil this all down to a simple 3-step action plan. First, stop collecting certificates and start building a portfolio of projects that solve actual problems. Second, don't be a generalist. Specialize. Find a niche that you're genuinely interested in, whether it's computer vision or AI in healthcare. And third, get out there and engage with the community. Join some forums, contribute to an open source project, share what you're working on. That's where the real learning happens.
And in the end, it really all comes down to this one question you have to ask yourself. Are you building a resume, or are you building evidence of your impact? Because in the fast-moving world of AI, only one of those is actually going to move your career forward.